Hey Aries, welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I've done a reading, and thank you to all my subscribers who have stuck around patiently. Some of you even reminding me or asking about the readings. I really appreciate that. I was just not feeling, the channel for the last few months. And just wanted to come back to myself and bring my energy back to myself and focus. And I also, when I don't have enough energy or spare capacity, then I don't like to do readings because it takes, it's a lot to channel these readings, and you're putting it out there publicly, so you're exposing yourself energetically as well. And I haven't been in the space to do that. So I've been called to do the fire signs specifically today. And the energy of fire has been really powerful this morning. And especially the energy of dragons. So I'm not sure if any of you have been seeing a lot of dragon symbolism, have been called to the dragon energy in any way whatsoever. Fire energy, dragons are about rebirth. It's that phoenix energy as well. And then I started, what made me realize this is I started noticing all the dragons in my home, incense holders or imagery, the dragon oracle deck, and how dragon energy has been really strong in my space in the last few weeks as well. And I am an Aries rising, so very strong placement in Aries. So if any of you have been feeling that, what I've also been experiencing is a lot of heat in my body, especially in my hands. My hands feel like they are on fire sometimes, and as I said, that the Fool and the Wounded Warrior comes up. Okay, Aries, so let's get into this reading for you. So if any of you have been feeling, that fire energy in your body, or feeling extra hot lately, or even fire in your energetic space where, there's a lot of heat, maybe in the workplace or in relationships, and by heat I mean fire energy, and there's a spectrum at which fire energy can play out in your life, and it can be, or the shadow side of fire energy, because everything has a light and a shadow side, the dichotomy of it. The shadow side of fire energy can also be aggression, over-competing. So if you're seeing that play out in the workplace or in your life, ego, a superiority complex, that's, the shadow side of fire. And, obviously the positive side is, well, maybe not so obviously, but it's rebirth. It's clearing out the old, it's purging. Fire is a very powerful medium to clear out a space. Okay, so let's see what's going on for you, Aries. For the sign of Aries, any messages? I have prayed and blessed the space. So let's see, for the sign of Aries, very strongest messages. It could be something to do with finances going on for you, Aries. Leo has shown up as well. And Leo is fire energy. Sagittarius, 8 of Wands, just flew out as well. Okay. Spirit, please come into this room. The sign of Aries. Death, Scorpio, major arcana. Rebirth, exactly. I was talking about rebirth. There's a very strong sense of rebirth. It could be, Page of Cups. Let me just get all of that. Ten of Pentacles again. Definitely something about home life, finances. The Ten of Pentacles is, is the ultimate achievement in the earth realm when it comes to judgment. Scorpio. A lot of Scorpio energy here. Two major arcana of Scorpio. Yeah, the Ten of Pentacles is about material wealth. It's about feeling also, very grounded in your space, that you are not wanting for anything. Happy home, happy family, but grounded in the 3D world, whereas the Ten of Cups would be more on an emotional level. The Ten of Pentacles is, it's physically in your space. And so that's work, that's home, stability, the Hermit. So this energy that's been going on for you, I almost want to say Scorpio. So some of you might have very strong Scorpio placements, or you could be dealing with a lot of Scorpio energy around you. But the feeling that I'm getting is, there's a lot going on in terms of rebirth and just reinventing yourself. You may be feeling like, everything that worked for you in the past or gave you some sort of, escape or validation or anything that you used to not manipulate in a negative sense, but when we learn certain behaviors and patterns which keep us safe. And, everybody goes through that, and it's how you've been brought up, how you've evolved, your circumstances, the environment, everything psychologically that might have affected you, and also energetically. And that plays out in how we handle situations. And you might be feeling in this death and rebirth with judgment. And there could be a lot of self-judgment as well about the past, or about the way you've handled certain situations, or the behaviors that, have gotten you to a certain point. And I want to say, Aries, everybody has to go through this. Everybody has this journey. There is nobody that is so spiritually evolved that they're still not working on, things that are still challenging them spiritually, emotionally, physically, blockages, self-sabotaging behaviors, whatever it may be. Everybody goes through it, and that's exactly what I've been experiencing in the last few months, is like a complete 180 almost of who I thought I was. And it could be a midlife crisis, I don't know, but it has been very intense, because everything that used to bring me comfort or safety in my space no longer did, and I'm starting to find that again. But there was a lot of self-judgment, a lot of going back and blaming myself, and I'm sharing this personal experience because I am an Aries rising, and it also might resonate with what you're going through. So this judgment card, the card of Scorpio is about, it can be self-judgment, but it is also about second chances. And feeling like, you're going through a quality gate almost in your evolution in this lifetime. And this is a big quality gate. It seems, there's a lot that's being reborn. There's a lot that's dying. There's a lot that, that again, like I said, used to make sense in your physical world that no longer makes sense for you. And that's okay. That's the whole purpose of life, is to reinvent ourselves. And things around us are changing so quickly, in every single sphere, political, global, the earth, environment. We just had a 4.38 measure on the Richter scale earthquake in Johannesburg. That has never happened, not since I've been alive. So there's some hectic energy at play, and it's manifesting in the physical space right now. Like everything that has been built up energetically is now manifesting. And there might be children involved, or you might be being called back to inner child work, emotional inner child work. And I know it feels like, is this ever going to end? Just when you think you've dealt with a specific issue, not the word issue, or dealt with a specific wound or trauma, it comes up again, but in a different form. But it's the same emotional trigger that happens. I don't know, to give you an example, if you've dealt with, death, and it could be 20 years, it could be 2 years, and you feel like you're, and maybe it was a sudden death, and you feel like, okay, you've moved on from this. If it was someone close to you, a sudden death would feel like, on an emotional level, it can feel like abandonment. And so you are now being triggered again. It feels like going back to situations that you thought were fully healed, but may not have been. And you will now get situations or triggers in the workspace or in the relationship space where that feeling of abandonment could come up again. And it brings back all the past experiences of abandonment you've ever felt. But the latest form that presents itself to you is going to have, all those faces on it, as if it's the cause of a major disappointment. But it's not just the latest thing that happened to you. It's everything related to that emotional trigger that is coming up again when something happens, to remind you of it. And that's good, because it's coming up to be healed. It's coming up to be buried. The death card is a beautiful card because it signifies the ending of difficult cycles, and it's a major arcana, which is very powerful energy. Scorpio energy as well, which is a deep water sign. So I really am getting strongly that it's got a lot to do with emotion. And it could be making you feel like you want to hermit, and that's okay. You could be going within for answers instead of seeking them from outside, and just feeling like you want to physically be at home. That has been me for the last 3 days, a couple of days, just wanting to be in my own space, not even wanting to go out for breakfast, which I love doing, or shopping, anything that you normally might love doing outside of your home. You're wanting to pull back on that energy a little. For me, like this feeling of like overwhelm when I leave the walls of my garden for some reason lately, like I'm stepping into another world. And it's because you've created a safe space within yourself and within maybe your home environment as well, Aries, and that's the perfect space to hermit in and just reflect. And being a fire sign, and being the sign that sparks off the zodiac and the trailblazers of the zodiac, this can be a very difficult thing for you to do, because you're always, again, judging yourself, like feeling like you should be doing something, like you should be creating something, you should be starting something, you should be seeing like fruition in whatever efforts you've been putting into something. And That's difficult for Aries. It is, because you're in a fire is not a patient energy. And you are ruled by Mars, which is about action. But sometimes, and don't, that self-judgment about that, you should be going all the time. Don't let that stop you. That's just like, the ego trying to keep itself safe. Like, if I'm distracting myself doing this thing, then I'm accomplishing something, and it kind of detracts from the emotional experience you're meant to be having when you're in a hermit energy. So, yeah, no judgment, Aries. Yeah, so that was your reading. I hope it helped. And, this is an evolution. This is very strong energy. This is, it just feels like there's a new chapter about to start for you, Aries. Like a whole new you, a whole new sense of you, a whole new way of being on this planet that is going to just take you to new places, and it's an exciting energy. I just want to get an oracle card for you to end off this reading, a card of advice for our Aries collective. And if this reading doesn't resonate, well, I guess if you're still here 18 or 16 minutes into a YouTube video, then it would resonate. But if it doesn't, don't force it. Okay, oracle message, card of advice for Aries, please, Spirit. Whoa. Oracle message, card of advice. Oh my. No. Aries, I'm always amazed at the imagery that comes to me, during the reading, and then when a card comes out to validate it, it's just, it always just amazes me. It always just makes me feel like, okay, we are really not alone, because these messages, are not coming like from my knowledge. It's being channeled through my guides, ancestors, my angels. So yeah, Aries, if that is not the perfect card to end off the reading, then I don't know what is. I mean, the Phoenix. Transmutation. Exactly. And also Scorpio energy. And look at that fire energy. I mean, and it's card 29, which is an 11, which is about soul bath. So it might feel really shitty, excuse my French at the moment, Aries, but it's okay. This is where it's leading you to. Sending you so much love, Aries, and thank you for staying to the end of this reading, and for liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, sending you love.